Most people start portraits wrong. They go straight into details. I don't. I start with this. Just a rectangle, and it changes everything. This is the part most people skip, but it's the reason their portraits feel off. I start with a simple rectangle. First, I draw a vertical center line. Then I split the lower half again. From the top corner, I draw a slanted line down to the middle of the bottom edge. The other side is different. It starts around the first third, closer to the center line. Now, between this slanted line and the outer edge of the rectangle, I place a point right in the middle. Then I connect it. And just like that, I get the jaw shape. For the hair, I keep it loose, just straight lines for now. Now we start blocking in the features. I begin with the brow line, keeping it consistent with the overall tilt of the head. Pay close attention. That horizontal guideline we placed for the nose, the base of the nose actually sits slightly below it. To simplify the nose, I break it down into 3 basic forms: a larger mass in the center, a smaller one on the right, and a slightly wider one on the left. Now moving to the mouth, again I follow the same tilt. There's a subtle angle to it. At this stage, you don't want to push beyond 50% of the features. This stage is all about structure. You build the foundation first, then refine the details later. It's like building a house. You don't start with the finishes. You start with the structure. Now for the hand. I'm just loosely sketching it in, finding the placement of the fingers. Nothing refined yet, just establishing position. Now this is critical. Where exactly do the eyes sit? I draw a horizontal midline inside this smaller bounding box. If you look closely, the lower lash line of the right eye sits right on that line. That helps me anchor the eye placement. Now here's a subtle detail. The other eye actually sits slightly lower. It's not perfectly aligned. I'll show you exactly how to correct that later, so don't worry about it for now. Now we move into the rendering stage. I switch to a softer pencil, Staedtler 8B. Personally, I like to start with the nose. It gives me a sense of control over the entire portrait. Everything starts to feel more grounded from here. Try this yourself and let me know in the comments. If you don't usually start with the nose, you'll notice a difference. It just feels more natural, more controlled. I begin by identifying the darkest values first, and I block those in, because those are what define the light. You never want to start with the highlights. You build from dark to light. This becomes especially important in the hair. I'll show you exactly how to handle that when we get there. At this point, the portrait still feels a bit rough, so I take a tissue and softly blend the graphite. This helps create a more realistic surface. Then I come back in with the pencil, sharpening the edges where needed. Now I start focusing on the deeper values, especially around the nose, because values aren't just light and dark. Even within the darker areas, there are subtle variations. You need to train your eye to separate those shifts. Now to create skin texture, I use a circular motion. If you look closely, I'm constantly building with small circles. That gives the surface a more natural, porous feel. And it works really well, especially if you don't have tools like an electric eraser. Shifting focus to the brow. What matters here is the weight and the directional flow. Both need to stay consistent with the overall head tilt. The structure was already established during the block-in stage, so at this point, it's more about refinement than construction. Then the second brow comes in, slightly broader in appearance, similar to the nose. That entire side of the face reads wider due to the natural tilt of the head, so maintaining that asymmetry is essential. Moving into the second eye, the main concern here is defining its span from the inner corner to the outer edge. To place it accurately, I rely on 2 key relationships. The inner corner aligns in relation to the nose axis, while the outer edge is guided by the existing value structure. The tilt of the upper lid needs to echo the overall rhythm of the face. That's what locks in the correct scale. And scale here is critical. Even a slight imbalance can disrupt the entire portrait, so adjustments are part of the process. Erasing, refining, until everything sits naturally. And if you notice here, this eye sits slightly lower than the horizontal guideline, not perfectly aligned, just like I mentioned earlier in the previous stage. And like I said before, this gets corrected later on almost without you even noticing. Before moving into the mouth, this is where most people lose the proportions. You need to establish the position of the upper lip first, because if this is even slightly off, the entire mouth won't feel right. I define it by shading the area between the base of the nose and the upper lip. Once that distance is correct, everything else becomes much easier. Now, there are two things left, but this part is more important than it looks: the side boundaries and the overall tilt. To place the edges correctly, I compare them to the eye level above. And this is where it gets interesting. On the narrower side, the edge of the mouth aligns roughly with the center of the eye. But on the wider side, it shifts. It sits closer to the first third of the eye, or more precisely, you can relate it to the width of the nose on that side. Once you start seeing this, you won't unsee it, and your proportions will instantly improve. Now this naturally leads into the jaw, but here's where people get confused. Don't judge your portrait based on this stage. Now, to keep everything accurate, I rely on comparison, and this is a key relationship. The distance between the ears and the outer edge of the eye is nearly equal to the distance between the eye and the base of the nose. Once you see this, placing the jaw becomes much easier, and now everything starts to feel more controlled. From here, I move into the neck, lightly indicate the body, and refine the ear. Now we move into the hair. I usually start with charcoal powder first, to speed things up a little. Then I switch to Staedtler Black 8B to build the visible strands in this area. And of course, there are some lighter spots where the light hits. For that, I use an electric eraser. I apply the same approach to the shirt. I start by filling in the darker areas using charcoal powder. Then, I use a charcoal eraser to lift some of that value in specific areas, to suggest the light. After that, I switch to the Staedtler Black 8B to define the sharper edges and bring back some structure. I leave the hand untouched at first. No graphite, no charcoal. Then I go back in, shade it, blend it, and push it as far as I can to match the rest of the portrait. Now this is where things start to come together, the background. This part matters more than people think. It adds a lot to the overall impact of the portrait. I try to capture the same energy, that fiery, dynamic look. At the same time, I keep checking the edge of the face. If anything feels off, I refine it, add detail where needed. Then I use the electric eraser to pull out subtle highlights, especially in those lighter, glowing areas. That helps push the realism further. I'm not trying to recreate the background perfectly, just enough to support the portrait. Because even a partial background is far better than leaving it completely blank. Now we move into the final stage, the finishing pass. This is where small details make a big difference. I go back and look for anything that needs refinement. Hair strands, subtle textures. Even in the shirt, I might introduce small highlights. For that, I use a white gel pen, adding tiny, sharp highlights. If you made it this far, I'm pretty sure you enjoyed this. So a quick like and maybe a subscription would really mean a lot. And let me know what you think in the comments. It actually helps more than you think. Also, if you want to level up your proportions, check out the comparison technique video I mentioned, and the one where I draw using just one pencil. I think you'll enjoy those.